Hi there, thanks very much for joining me. I'm Dean of Woodwork Journey, and this is the Cigman CM701 self-leveling laser. We're going to find out if it's any good for you and whether it's going to be useful in your workshop or with whatever you're going to do. I'll try and give you a full feature rundown on this. Let me know your thoughts at the end. Thanks very much. Let's get into it. Righty, so I'm not normally one for unboxings, but this one's pretty special. So we've got the laser level CM701 here. There is other versions of this, but this is kind of all the bells and whistles. Cigman on that side. We've got some specs about the box on the back there. If you want to pause it, you can. And where we go. However, inside this, when we take the top off, is a rather nice carrying case. Obviously we have the Cigman logo going on in the middle there, but it's got sort of a hard-ish shell going on, which is quite nice, but it does give it some level of protection if it's in the back of your van, and it's got a nice rubber kind of handle thing as well. Opening that bad boy up, we have the laser, which we'll go over in detail in a second. We have a magnetic L bracket, so we can attach the laser to this and then stick these onto something metal if we want to. We have a tripod, which is a fine adjustment jobby as well, so we can just adjust things with that. We can have a little look at that later. We've got a remote control, always handy. We've got an instruction manual, and then we've got a target as well. So with this little puppy, you do have a magnet on the top there. You can stand it up. It's got like an A-frame stand going on. So you've got a few options there if you want it. To be honest with you, don't think there's much of a need for this to be used, but it's nice to have it if you do so want it. And I have thought of a reason that you could use it usefully. Looking around the laser level here, we've got a lock on and off, which I'll explain in a moment. We've got one of the lasers coming out here with the mirrors there and on the other side as well. Underneath, we've got a 1/4-20 thread, so you can attach it to any normal tripod you've got. And then at the back there, we've got the rubberized covering for the USB-C recharging thingamajiggy. Nice to see that it's USB-C. I know most things are these days, but also there's a lot of stuff that comes out with the old USB-B side of things. So nice to see that we've got the C going on. On the top there, we do have our controls, and we'll go through those momentarily. But it's very simple. We've got vertical 1, vertical 2, we've got horizontal, and then we've got a power switch with a little level indicator. Now, when it comes to the remote control, that's very, very similar. I think when I first got this, there was a little like a pull tab somewhere for the battery. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure there was, but yeah, to make it go, vertical 1, vertical 2, horizontal, and level once again. But it's a dinky little thing, and yeah. Right, I'm going to pop this onto this little tripod gadget, because this way I can show you a couple of things. I'm also going to pop it in my highly professional spray booth. But this allows me to show you what this knob down the bottom here does. Now, this knob down here allows us to make real kind of minor adjustments with the with where it's pointing, which is very, very handy indeed. Now then, to get this going, what we're going to do is we're going to pull this, and if I show you on the side again, on the side here we've got a lock kind of symbol going on, and we've got an unlock symbol. Now, if that's down and you've got it on your tripod or wherever you're putting it, you can then pull that open, and so that was just pulling that lever back, and that is going to the unlocked position. Now, at that point, you can see that we do have a laser coming out of here. This is one of the verticals, obviously. We've got another one coming out of here, which is another one of the verticals. And then we've got the laser, which is the horizontal. Now, we can turn those off individually. So we'll turn off the horizontal, we'll turn off vertical 2, and we'll turn off vertical 1. Bosh, bosh. Just like that. And if you try and turn everything off, everything all comes on. Now, we've also got the power button here, which if we give it a quick press, it will darken or less brighten, whatever the word is, the laser, so you don't go through battery quite as quickly. It is pretty good for battery life, and it does last a fair old while. But that is in self-leveling mode, so you can see it going a little bit wobbly there. Now, if I was to move this tripod and it start flashing like that, that's telling us that it cannot self-level anymore. It's going too far in one direction and it can't self-level. So there is a sort of a tolerance going on there. But what do we do if we want that to be, you know, an angle that we want? Well, what we'll do is we'll move this laser across. We'll turn it off by clicking on that one right there. And then, especially if I just take this off here for a moment, it makes life a little bit easier. Okay, so now instead of using the switch on the side to turn this puppy on and off, I'm going to hold my finger on this red power and brightness button. Now doing that will give us what we need. It'll give us, we've still got all the same controls as we had before, but now what we can do is we can tilt it to whatever kind of angle we want to. So say you're doing a stairwell or something like that, then that can help with this. Also, one of the things that you can do, I'll show you in a second, but yeah, it'll give a slow flash when it's like this, and that's because it'll flash every now and again just to let you know that it's not self-leveling. I mean, that's fairly obvious, but it's yeah, that's what that's doing. So there we go. So we've got all of the lasers going. If we turn off V1 and a horizontal, we've just got that one. Horizontal, we've got a cross going on there, and so on. Now, one of the ways that I've thought of using this target situation is you could get that at a particular angle that you want to use. So say you want to drill legs into the base of a stool, for instance, and you want that to go at a certain angle. You could set that with a piece of wood, or maybe use a magnet on the top, utilize that, and then tilt the laser until it's in the same plane as that. That way, when you go to drill, you can make sure that your drill is the same angle as the laser beam the whole time. You know, does that make sense? Hopefully it does, but it'll allow you to make sure that you drill in fairly accurate angles. You may also see that although I'm some distance away from the wall there, this is certainly visible, even though I've got 3 LED lights on the ceiling, and I've also got a video light in the corner there. You can still see it pretty well. Obviously we can make that the next lower down brightness, and then number 2, and then number 1, and then we go back to 4. But yeah, I think it's surprisingly bright for these kind of uses. One question that gets asked quite a lot is, can you see these lasers under daylight? So I'm just going to turn this on now. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there is a laser there. I'm going to move this back. So I'm now in line with the camera, which is about 10 feet away. And yeah, so I'm showing the lasers on there. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, the other thing that we've got here is the L-shaped bracket, which has got the ⅛ bolt underneath, as well as 2 magnets on the side there. This means that we can stick it on whatever we want, such as that, and then that will give us the height that we need, and then all we've got to do is turn it on, it'll self-level. Job's a good one. So what do I think about the Cigman CM701? Well, I don't have the experience to let you know how this compares to other models, but I've tried to be as thorough as I can in this review to show you the different scenarios that you can use it. So I've been using this to put up things like my French cleats, which were just super helpful, because it meant that even on my own, what I could do is drill a hole in the middle of the French cleat there. I could have the laser set up, put this so the bottom of the cleat was on the laser level, and then I could twist it around because it was only pinned in the middle there to get the next pin in, and it just made life a lot easier. I'll show you a couple of pictures of me doing that while I was getting this workshop ready. But on top of that, it's just really handy. I know for a fact, after checking, this is going to bug me, so I'm going to have to do it now, but my wooden storage that I've got up on the wall up there is not straight, so that's going to be frustrating, so I need to sort that out. But also, this is just going to come in super handy for a myriad of things when I want to make sure an angle is correct, when I want to make sure, for instance, as I mentioned, with the drilling side of things, put an auger bit inside your drill, get into the base of a stool or a chair or something, and then you can get your kind of 30-degree angles or 25 or whatever you're using, and make sure that that laser is on the drill the whole time, which is super useful and something that I may be doing on camera in the future. What are the negatives with this? Well, it can be slightly frustrating with regards to it'll self-level, and that does a brilliant job, and that's great. However, you do obviously need to have a tripod that can move up and down, or a metal surface that you can stick this on. Now then, the other option to that, of course, is having this directly upright, having it in a locked position, and then tilting it back like so, which you certainly can do. That's something that you will have to just double sure that your horizontal line is exactly how you're going to want it to be, because that's not going to be able to accept the auto leveling feature if you're going to do that to that sort of degree. Now, I believe there is a plus or minus 4 degrees, I think, maybe on this one. So it's got that's something that you'll have to figure out if it's worthwhile for you. Now then, the price is something, this is a gadget to have in your workshop that you're going to use occasionally, but when you do need it, it's going to be super useful to have. Now this is, I believe it's about 140 quid at the minute. Check on the Amazon link down below. Like I said, there is a little bit of a discount off that if you use the link that Cigman have given me for you guys down below. But all in all, I think it does a fine job. Would I go out and spend this if I had the money? Yes, I would. Yes, I would go out and buy this, because whether I will be resorting out walls at some point in time. This would have been really useful to use when I was putting up these OSB sheets. Didn't think of it, was very annoyed at myself about that one. But all of these OSB sheets are ever so slightly not quite straight, which is super annoying, and it meant that I had to trim bits off. But yeah, so there's a whole myriad of ways you could do it. You could use a line on a piece of wood and use your jigsaw or track saw or whatever to cut through it, or circular saw to cut through it following the line. There's a load of things that you can do, but it is a bit of a luxury. I can't get away from that one. If you're working in an industry when you will be using this sort of daily for all manner of jobs, I showed you earlier that it is something that you can see outside, which is going to be super helpful for brickwork and all that kind of stuff. And also, as I said, you can contort it to be exactly how you want. The battery life lasts a good amount of time, and I'm pleased I've got this as a tool in the workshop. As I said at the start, do you need it? Absolutely not. But is it a nice to have? It certainly is in my book. But that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Dean, and this has been Woodwork Journey, and I'll see you very, very soon.